Welcome to our podcast, Doing It Right. This podcast reveals authentic stories from successful leaders doing it right. It's about their journey to become a leader, their choices, motivations, and lessons. In essence, how they built successful personal brands. Your host is Valerie Sokolosky, author of 8 leadership books and nationally known as an authority on executive presence and personal branding. Let's get started. Here's Valerie.
Hello again, and oh my goodness, always so much to talk about. I met our guest just about 2 hours ago for brunch, kind of. And I thought, well, we'll just take some notes and I'll get to know him in 30 minutes. Well, an hour later, I still want to get so much more information from our guest. So let me just tell you about him and get right into the show. Carlos Vaz is an incredible man. This story is one of hope, and you know that's kind of what I've been talking about these days. Carlos now is the co-founder and CEO of CONTI organization. This organization has been in existence for 13 years, and man, is it growing. I mean, he's just not stopping. You talk about a young man that's on his way. He's already there, and he's going further and further and further. And what is the company? It's about commercial real estate. It's in the apartment business in Dallas. And he's founded his company on his own personal brand. The culture is all about the people and the community, gives back to the community of Dallas and the community of Texas and the community of the United States because he's so grateful to be here. There are many awards that he's already won. I asked him, of all of them, what would you like me to mention? And you can read more about him when you go to his website. He said, and it's funny, I circled best places to work. Best places to work. You know how hard that is to get. Well, his company has it. Carlos, welcome. Welcome
Valerie,
to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's really a pleasure to have you. You're gone all the time. I'm
Yes.
so grateful you had the time to be on the show.
My pleasure to be here.
And you know, tell us first of all about the company and how you started it. And then I want to get into the man because this man has so many pearls of wisdom. But tell us about CONTI organization.
What I can say about CONTI, it's first and foremost is named after my mom, Neuza Conti Vaz. So I remember way back when I was creating the business and say, Mom, I'm going to create a business. It's going to be CONTI Construction back then. It's going to do tiny little jobs, and I'm going to name the company after you. Vaz always going to come stay with me. I need to make sure your last name is alive. So that was I would say the blessing and the company itself. So many ways to look at CONTI that I'm very thankful, right? First and foremost, I'm very thankful for the company culture that we have. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. Our people, the right people. The way I see myself as a CHO, Chief Helping Officer, how I can help everyone in the office for them to become better, for them to grow. It makes me extremely proud of the partnerships we have. Of course, to look at what I have achieved, I mean, I've done over 1 billion in transactions. Very proud of that. I mean, unbelievable team. Very thankful to my partner as well, Stuart Sue. I've been partners for 13 years. And I love the interaction that we have, how we look at things together. And of course, I need to say thank you to my wife, Lynn, right? She's the one that I must honor on a daily basis. And above all, I think God has always a plan for us. So when I look at CONTI, what we have done, what we're about to do in a much greater scale, we do a lot in apartment buildings. We create a new division in preferred equity. We have some outstanding partnerships and relationships here in the U.S., overseas as well. And I think we're about to really grow to a bigger scale now.
I have to go back to thanking your wife. With behind every good man, there's a good woman, right?
Beside.
Easy for me to say.
I would say not behind me. She's always beside me. Beside me.
Well, I know that you met her in Dallas.
Yes, I did.
So now let's go back to those early beginnings and how you Audience, what I want you to know is this man came here to the United States with nothing. So I'm not going to tell you any more except to turn it over to Carlos and go back to you're in the country, you're in Brazil. You're one of 9 children.
Number 8 of 9.
Your parents didn't have an education. You're the first of 9 to get an education. So these stories are so important right now, particularly when people are saying, oh, I don't know my purpose. Really? Well, let's find it. So let's find it today. Tell us about how you got to the United States.
It's so many ways to look at this year, right? So I just need to make a quick comment when we say the purpose. Right? I think that we as human beings were entitled to 3 things, right? To wake up early, to go to work, and to make yourself better on a daily basis. That's it.
3 pretty good ones. Wake up early.
Go to work.
Go to work.
And make yourself better.
And make yourself better.
In everything that you do.
Everything you
Both
do.
personally and professionally. The only thing you're allowed to point is like this, to yourself.
Oof.
Exactly. That's what I believe. You can always make yourself better. Don't expect your parents to do something for you, the country to do something for you. What are you doing to yourself? What's the self-respect you have for yourself? How are you doing as a husband, as a wife? How are you doing as a father? How are you doing at work? It's the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So I strongly believe in that.
And let me interrupt here for just a second, because that's built the culture.
Yeah.
What's so important about that for, I think, all of us to hear is it was ingrained in you as a child.
It's different because when I go back to my parents, right? And you said, right, my parents not even had basic education, right? So my dad and my mom didn't know how to write and how to read. Different, right? One of 9 kids. And if I know I tell you, if you're the part of the pack, if you're number 8, right? You're not the oldest, you're not the baby, so you're just part of the pack, right? Good luck. You better survive. But very thankful because my dad was a butcher. He would come and knock at my door, or not my door, because I used to share the room with my other brothers at 4 a.m. You're only gonna knock once. You better get yourself ready and go to work. If he comes back, you're gonna get it. So it's a very one way of working. So and when you don't have anything, you start to appreciate what you have, which is family. Family was and is and will always be the most important thing. Right? So when I look back, we didn't have much. We didn't have much food, nothing, but we have family. So I want to go to work. I want to work as hard as I can. I want to finish my chores so I can go help my brother, so he can finish his. Then we can both go help my dad. Then we can all go home earlier. So that's very simple, right? Take care of the family. So every time I drop off my kids at school, I always ask, what's the most important thing? Family. They hear that on a daily basis. So I think that's important. So we didn't have much growing up. So it's education was something different. My dad, the way he looked at things was always, none of my kids are lazy. You need to go to work and go to work, which is good. But education can empower you to grow. So very thankful to one of my sisters always being, stay in school and stay in school and stay in school. So I got accepted to go to law school in Brazil. They went on a strike during the first year. They went on a strike on the second year. I said, perhaps I go overseas and I come back. I found a non-paid internship in Boston. Non-paid. So you're wearing the suit and tie, but you're not getting paid.
And a law firm in Boston.
A law firm in Boston. It was a big challenge because I only have the money to get my ticket to get here.
How much money did you bring with you? How much?
By the time I paid my ticket and I got my place, I had $300 in my pocket. My rent was $350.
Think about that. $300
my P&L is negative
pocket.
Day one. I cannot call home, I need money, because everybody needs money. What are you going to do? Go to work.
How old were you?
So I was 21.
21 then, okay.
So you come here, you see, but then I strongly believe, what can I do to help the family? So I said, listen, how can I find? My first job was a newspaper warehouse from 2 a.m. to 6, load and unload trucks.
And then went to work?
And then going to work to 8 to 3. After the first month, I have enough money that I start taking some classes during the night. And over the weekend, I was working at TGI Fridays.
Okay, now wait a minute. You're working at the law firm.
Yes.
You're doing the paper
From 2 to 6.
loading trucks,
Yes.
physical work
Physical
in
work.
the snow in Boston,
Yes, breaking my back pretty much.
hurting once in a while. And then you're going to school at
During the night, yes, always.
And did you sleep at all?
Not much.
But you're 21.
Yeah, I still have, even today, I'm still awake at 4:30 a.m. every day.
Gosh.
So,
Okay, take us forward from that.
so it's challenging, right? You come and you look. But on the other thing, I think that for the person who was not born here, the amount of gratitude I have for this country. So let's make something clear. The U.S. is not a perfect country. There is no perfect country in the world.
No.
However, I strongly believe the U.S. is the closest one to perfection on my book. As far as I can tell, nobody's perfect either. I am not perfect. But we must, as human beings, strive to become better on a daily basis, because the more you do, the more the country can become better, right? It's all intertwined.
It's not hard.
Not their problem. We are on the same boat. So if you and I are on the same boat, I cannot say, hey, Valerie, have a hole on your side. We are on the same boat.
We're breathing the same air.
Yes, let's face it.
Yeah.
So this country is a blessing.
Well,
This country gives you opportunities that's unbelievable. The only challenge that sometimes amazes me is that there's 7 billion people trying to get in, and 300 million people that don't understand how blessed we are to be here.
That's a whole nother podcast.
It's another perspective. I mean, if you're willing to work hard and do your best, you have a lot of opportunities. So very thankful to this country in many ways. It's important for me to always give back. It's important. I strongly believe in education. I want my business to be very successful, more and more, so I can give it back. We can do more things for the greater Dallas area, for the Texas. It's important to me. It's important to my family. It's important for our company. And how can it become a better place? Because there is always that journey of a success and a journey of significance, right?
You gave me so many lessons learned in your conversation this afternoon. And you also told me that back to the early beginnings, you didn't even speak English.
Yeah.
Tell us how you learned English.
All by myself. I mean, a friend of mine living here in the U.S. for almost 12 years, he came back with a bunch of movies and all this stuff. So I was the guy watching Rifleman, I Love Lucy. I got everybody mad in my house because it would take me 6 hours to watch something like 30 minutes during the night, because I would stop, write down the word and what does it mean, go to the dictionary and start looking, and now I know the meaning. It was a long process, but that's what I could do, and thankful, right? There's that saying that I truly live by, right? And it was Theodore Roosevelt who said that. You need to put yourself in such a shape that when opportunity comes, you're ready to take advantage of them. What does that mean? You must be pursuing growth and learning on a daily basis. That's the reality.
And it doesn't have to be a college degree, does it?
No, it doesn't need to be a college degree. Of course, it's really important. But read a book, meet different people, always be networking. You're always going to meet people that know more than you and you can learn from. You're going to meet people that they know as much as you do. You can exchange ideas. And you're going to meet people that they know less than you do. And you need to have the capacity to teach.
For sure. So now you'd worked with the law school. You're making some money. How did it translate then into doing what you're doing now?
It's a long story. We might have been here for, I need to bring more coffee, more cookies, and I'm going to be here for a long time.
Woo.
Next show. It's always steps. To make a long story short, right? At the newspaper warehouse, I met some other people that they work in the restaurant business. Start getting to the restaurant business. Start learning. As a waiter, start getting money now. So it's good. Pay more for more classes. And many people talking to me, Carlos, you need to get involved in construction. We can do the work for you. I said, no, my name is going to be involved. I need to know what's happening. So I was the one who went to work for a construction company, doing all the labor jobs as assistant carpentry. I mean, you name it. Bathrooms, cleaning, all this stuff, doing the demo. It was me working for a company, learning. And that's how the first company was created, CONTI Construction. Our slogan was to do small jobs. That stuff is slowly starts growing. I don't believe in things that happen overnight. You need to be able to have the right foundation, right? Taking the time to build something solid. So that small business started growing. In no time, I was just doing small business, small renovations. Now I have someone doing. They want to do a house. The neighbor wants to talk to me as well. That started growing. A friend of mine was in the mortgage business, came talk to me, said, Carlos, let's start working together because you know a lot of people. You talk to me, I can do the loan, and most likely there's some renovation, you do the renovation. So that's interesting. Can you teach me? I said, sure. I started learning about mortgage as well. Then the second phase of the company became the CONTI group. And then we started buying, doing the renovations and selling the houses. From 2005 to 2007, I did almost 30 houses in the greater Boston area. Getting very busy, knew exactly where to buy, but moved very fast. Came early 2007, right? You always need to be careful because I strongly believe that success can easily become a double-edged sword. In one side, it can become like lenses that can empower to see very far away or with a lot of detail, and the other side can almost blind you. But you need to make yourself a judgment. Which side of my eyes I'm going to use for this year. So if you look at almost the best time of my business, the second phase of my business, on that subprime, there was no foundation because everything was depending on 100% finance. Yeah. The city was not growing. Very different when you look at Texas, we look at Dallas, all this business coming here. So we didn't have foundation. So it was a little bit concerning. And I said to myself, I need to shut it down. So in May of 2007, I stopped buying everything. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to see what's happening. And I want to take more classes in commercial real estate because everything made sense to me. That's where I got introduced to apartment buildings. And if you look at data in 2007, Texas was already growing. And I said to myself, I want to go to Texas just to see. I came to Dallas in August of 2007. I spent 2 weeks and I said to myself, I found home. Texas is one place that every month that goes by, I love this state more and more. This is definitely my home. Dallas is home. That's where I met my wife, the kids. So when I got here, I didn't know anyone. You're going to network. You know people. Who is this guy coming here with a different accent, trying to do anything? They don't have any track record. Doesn't have money. Should I work with him or not? We got our first deal on the contract was in December of 2007. I was all by myself. We did a partnership. That's another story by itself. We closed that deal in March of 2008. From March of 2008 to September of 2008, I bought 7 properties over 1,400 units in the greater Dallas area.
My goodness.
So all by myself, working a lot. It was during that time that Stuart and I met. So the first time Stuart and I met, and it was interesting because he didn't give me anything. So I'm like, who the heck is this guy here, comes here? And Stuart was born in Long Island. His parents came from Taiwan. As a good Northeastern, very skeptical. So, okay, not a problem. Thank you, God. I live in Boston for 7 years. I know where we're coming from. So come on, Stuart. And we started spending more time together. And then we realized that, hey, we have different ways of looking at things, but the same value.
Same value.
Which is more important, right? Yeah. I strongly say that in life, the 2 biggest decisions you're ever going to make, right? Personally, is whoever you choose to marry. Professionally, if you ever have a partner, you better know who your partner is. So very important decision that you have in life. And so what you see today, CONTI organization, Stuart and I closed our first one property together in December of 2008. So officially in December of 2008, CONTI organization was created. This third phase for me, we created together and start building the company since, right? Today, we're getting close to 300 people in the company. Very thankful to every single person that works there. I say that my why is always family. What used to be myself and my mom, my siblings, and everybody. Now then I got married, so my family got bigger. The way I look in a certain way, everyone that works for us is also part of my family. I think it's a big responsibility to empower them to grow, but at the same time, this is a place that we can make something greater. It makes me really happy. And that has been our story together. Right?
I love the story. Now I'm going to go to some things about the story that make you so special and the company so special. And you mentioned two things that I'd like to pull back on. And one is the culture.
Yes.
You have intentionally built a culture that's the kind of culture anyone would give their eye teeth to work in. So describe, from your background, from all the things that you've had to experience, how do you operationalize the great culture, best places to work? We all know what that kind of a culture is. But how do you make it real? How can someone walk in, Carlos, let's just put it this way. Let's say I'm a camera and I don't have any feelings. I just walk down your halls and I see people working. Well, hopefully they will be coming back maybe. But wherever they are, I'm observing. I'm a camera. I can't feel, but I can see and I can hear. I can see and I can hear. What in your culture am I seeing and hearing?
Okay. So when you look at CONTI, right, and the things that we do, and there's a saying that I truly believe, it was, if I'm not mistaken, was Peter Drucker who mentioned that people are not afraid of your ideas, but of your capacity to execute. Everyone want to tell a good story, but capacity to execute is really important. But it's not execution itself. It's not doing things. It's doing things right.
Doing it right.
Doing it right. So it's so doing things right. Because you're gonna get some moments that person who works for us, and you need to make a decision, and you know what's right and what's wrong. You might not have your manager nearby. You need to have the responsible enough to make that decision. So if anyone comes look at CONTI, right? First, what's your mission as a company? To benefit the lives of everyone we touch. That's our company mission. We are in real estate. We are for profit. I mean, in 13 years of the company, we never lost a penny of any one of investors. That's very important to us. The relationships we have, relationship is one of our core values. What's our three uniques? Relationship, focus, and performance. Relationship, we strongly believe every single person we meet, we can build a relationship with. And also, something I say all the time, right? Respect has no titles.
That's one of your teachable points of view. Respect has no titles. I love that. Go ahead.
I don't care if the person clean your backyard or if it's myself. We're all the same. Respect is the same. I mean, to me, that's a focus. We know what we do and we know what we've done. And performance. At the end of the day, if you're not able to bring performance, nothing works. But then once you go beyond that one, on our hiring process, so we hired a CFO recently. Now to come. Guess how many resumes we look to find our guy?
Oh, I bet a bunch.
Guess.
Oh, I don't know. 100?
517.
517. Okay.
Why? For one simple reason. First, you hire based on character, then in knowledge. Knowledge has always had the second seat. Character. What's our 5 core values? Number 1 is integrity. Number 2 is excellence. Pursue growth and learning. Right? Be passionate. Right? And make a difference. So if we're not able to find those values in every person that works for us, and we're not perfect either, we're going to make mistakes. But also, I strongly believe that it's not up to me to be here in this pedestal trying to make, hey, this is the company culture. No, every single person. Exactly. When we hire someone, and regardless of her position, and say, Valerie, we're hiring, awesome that you come to work. Let me tell you something about us. What do you have here does count. So if you're sitting in a meeting, and I don't care if it's your first time, you just joined the company, and you want to speak up, please do so, because your voice is important to us. We can learn from any one side of the company. So that's something really important to us. Are you finding the right people? And it's a journey. Are you making mistakes? Of course you're making mistakes. I think that's part of life. There's a big difference in making mistakes and pretending that you don't care, and making mistakes and listen to them and making yourself, your company, your surrounding better.
You've got to come back because we've got so much more to talk about. Before we go, though, I did want to ask you something really important. What's your why?
Family. My why has always been family.
There you go. That's so important, listeners, because if you don't know your why, you're kind of going to be having a whole lot of whys. Did you hear and see how quickly his why is? Can you answer that? That would be maybe something to consider. What's your why? How fast can you answer that? Carlos, I want you to listen to something before we close, and
Sure.
I'm so grateful you took the time today.
Thank you.
That I think you'll appreciate, because I started what I'm calling a challenge.
Yes.
Now remember, audience, I've been talking about this, and I'll mention again. Here's my challenge. Everything Carlos said to do has to do about really, honestly, authentically caring about somebody else, not just yourself. I'm sorry, but it's not all about you. The world just didn't get that message. Maybe that's why you're having problems if you think it is all about you. And I know my listeners don't. It's about helping anybody, demonstrating your character every day in anything you can do. My challenge is a kindness challenge. And it came because I heard about an organization that was started called the Kindness Pandemic. And she just wanted to have people think about what people could do for each other during this pandemic. Well, whether it's pandemic or not, here's my challenge to you. I want to raise your awareness to do something for somebody every day. Because when we do that, then we're not so depressed ourselves. You can't help other people and then be a downer. So when you do something for somebody, just send me an email, Valerie@valerieandcompany.com. Just tell me what you did, that's all. As I get these emails, audience, I'm going to be posting them. So other people around the world can see, look at the things that people are doing. You may be doing the same thing somebody else is. I don't care. But here's the deal. Every day, think about something you can do and send me some of those posts and I'm going to post them. How's that? And how's our fabulous leader in this city who's making such a difference? And you talk about doing it right, and you talk about a company with culture, and you talk about somebody that's totally authentic. That's Carlos. I'm going to have him back. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and it's up to you to find that happiness. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. To receive Valerie's voice, free monthly leadership tips, and to learn more about her leadership programs and coaching, visit her website, valerieandcompany.com. Next week, we'll be here again to inspire, engage, and equip you with teachable points of view from successful leaders who have been doing it right. Until then, lead authentically.